Hey, what's up, folks? This is Dave Wood. I'm talking to you from my home office out in Costa Rica, and I actually wanted to share with you a hilarious story, and then I'm going to get into, of course, why you should buy now event tickets by clicking the button below. So I want to tell you the don't be a wussy story, because this is something that, like, a lot of people in Power Network, they say don't be a wussy, that we have don't be a wussy chants at our events and things like that. And what a lot of people don't know is how that actually came about. Well, here's the true story. Dave Sharp and I, when we launched the company, we made the sales video with the most intense revision process that we've ever followed for anything. Dave Sharp wrote the letter, and then I rewrote the letter, and then we had a hypnotist review the letter for languaging, and then after the hypnotist reviewed the letter for languaging, then I rewrote the letter, then Dave Sharp rewrote the letter, then I rewrote the letter. Well, the true story is that we were trying to figure out how to use a language pattern called embedded quotes. Now, what embedded quotes are is it's a speech pattern you can utilize that creates influence. For example, if you want to influence somebody, right, and you've got to say something really strong to them, well, the best way to deliver that is by quoting somebody else who said it, because the command still enters the person's unconscious mind, but there's no resistance to it. So let me give you an example of that. Like, let's say I want to tell you, you need to get to the events if you love your family, right? Now, that's something that's really intense to say, right? So if I say, you need to go to the events if you love your family, it sounds weird, right? It's like, come on, Dave, lay off a little bit. Well, if I do it like this, it's different. Back in 2002, I was in a hotel room late at night. There's a guy that actually had flown in. This is a true story, by the way. His name is Brad. Brad was making $500,000 a month in an old school company. He had a private jet. His wife was gorgeous. His life was perfect. And he's actually still making $500,000 a month today. Now, I cornered Brad in a hotel room, and it took me like hours, because there was hordes of people surrounding this guy. He's wearing one of those blue suits, standing in the corner, and he was inspiring people and speaking life into people and all this cool stuff. And I kind of waited there till 2:30 in the morning. I finally get up to him, and I looked at him. I said, Brad, just tell me what the secret is. Tell me what the secret is to getting rich in this business. And he grabbed me by the collars, he pulled me in close, and he said, David, do you love your family? I said, yeah. And he says, if you love your family, get to every single event if you care about your future. Right now, he can say that, and it's not offensive, but the command still sinks in, even though I explained that I was going to do it, and then I just did it. Does that make sense? And so we were trying to figure out a way to do this in the original sales video. And so we're sitting there in the sales video staring at it before the company existed, and we wanted to say, don't be a wussy in the sales video and put it into embedded quotes. And so we were sitting there and saying, how could we say, don't be a wussy, just get in, don't be a wussy, just buy? How could we say that? And we were sitting there staring at it, and I said, Dave, what if we told a story about how you were about to join something, and then your daughter grabbed you and she pulled you in close, and a 12-year-old daughter looked at me right in the eye and she said, Dad, stop being a wussy, make a decision and just do it. Right? We just started laughing hysterically. We put it in the sales video, and we had to re-record that thing 10 times because Dave Sharp kept bursting into laughter when he read that line, because it was the most ridiculous thing ever. Well, what happened was, I wanted you to check this out. Number one, everybody started just saying, don't be a wussy, just join. Don't be a wussy, get to the events. Don't be a wussy, just make a decision if you care about your family. Then people started saying things like this because it was in the sales video. And then I want to show you something. Our very first event that we had out in Atlanta, Georgia, 1,300 people were gathered in a room chanting, don't be a wussy. Check it out. Okay, now come back with me here for a second. I want to talk about how Empower Network has grown from event to event and where this is headed into the future, and really how to utilize this information to get rich in your business by making a decision. Now, our second event was a little bit different. We actually, we got event planners. We were having 2,500 people there. We were doing it out in, it was somewhere in California. I can't even remember where it was. And last minute, I called my event planners and I said, I want to get 3,000 Guy Fawkes masks. Now, if you've ever seen the movie V for Vendetta, it's where you've got, they've got that mask. I was telling a story on a blog post the other day about how the Guy Fawkes holiday came about and people in England like wear those masks and burn effigies of like human bodies in big piles of fire, right, every year on November 5th. And this movie got, V for Vendetta comes out, and this guy's like a freedom fighter. Like he represents freedom, and he represents liberty and things like this. And so Guy Fawkes has kind of like become this controversial character in political, science, where people like wear Guy Fawkes masks and they rant and rave about the government. And I wanted to get 3,000 people together and give a speech in a Guy Fawkes mask with an ocean of people wearing Guy Fawkes masks. I'm actually pretty sure that it's the largest gathering ever of people in one room wearing those ridiculous masks. And in our second event, we had 3,000 people. Last minute, it cost like $12,000 to buy all the masks and get them shipped in huge boxes out to California. And we were sitting in an auditorium with 2,500 people in California in Guy Fawkes masks. And I got to give my freedom speech. Now, I'd show you the whole thing, but unfortunately the mask muffled the sound of the microphone, and you couldn't actually hear me talking. And so I was giving this speech, and it sounded like, but check it out just for a second. I want to show you this. Now, that's just from June 10th, our affiliate account. From doing.
So now this is now just
only
to be
our
clear,
affiliate account.
This is money from the company?
No.
This is money
This is us doing what we tell people to do.
This is doing what we tell people to do.
Yeah. This isn't like, this isn't any, there's no shenanigans with the front blog overriding your affiliate cookies or anything like this. This is from a non-company affiliate account that we've been working since we started. This is since June 10th till now.
Using kind of the things that I'm talking about now. Because what do, guys? We usually shoot a video, right? We put it up, and not only do we make sales from it, but all you guys make sales from it too.
No. And we got other marketing going on outside that. I'm just saying, guys, because sometimes, sometimes the people wear a mask,
Sexy.
And they're telling people one thing and they're doing another. You know what I mean? Here, pass out my DVD as I lie on the beach.
I just kind of like staring at you with this mask on, honestly.
I just think this is hilarious. I didn't know if you were finished with your
I'm
spiel.
gonna go pee real quick. Is that cool?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
It's fine. You gotta go. I should take that off. So guys, now coming to our next event. So we've gone through Don't Be a Wussy, the name of our first event, Don't Be a Wussy. And then we went to Fight the Forces of Evil. And so fighting the forces of evil, I was standing there with a Guy Fawkes mask giving a speech. And then we come into our third event, Release Your Inner Badass. Now, each event changed our company. Each event caused a pivotal shift in the way that we do things at Empower Network and the kind of results people are getting. Every event is inclusive of that, and when we went into this next event, just something magical happened. A true story about why it's called Release Your Inner Badass is we were sitting around and we were talking on a conference call, and Dave Sharp's up there ranting and raving, pacing back and forth in the room, and he says, "Don't be a wussy, fight the forces of evil, and release your inner badass." And he said that, and we just said, holy smokes, we have got something that we need to call an event. And so we decided to name the event Release Your Inner Badass. I'm still convinced it's the only event ever in network marketing history that has the word ass in the event, right? So we go to this event and we have, the logo is a skull and we're wearing like cowboy costumes and we've got like flames coming out of everywhere and people are chanting and people are screaming. But something special happened on Sunday night. This event changed Empower Network because this is the first time we really discovered how to connect people into their life purpose and align it with their vision on how they want to get rich. Sunday night, something magical happened, and I wanted to show it with you. I'm going to come back and explain exactly what happened, and of course, why you need to be at the Freedom event in just a minute. Check it out. I'm going to ask you this question. When you get that, what's that going to get you? When you make $1 million a year, what's it going to get you that you don't have now? Somebody says freedom, okay. No. Time, okay. When you make $10,000 a month, what's it going to get you? You feel free to just hold in your mind. Okay, just start screaming out when you got an answer. Okay. Another question, starting to get annoying.
When you get that, freedom, change, starting to sound like certain presidents. What's that going to get for you that you don't have now? First time I was asked, I said, well, what do you want? I said, I want 10 people make $250,000 this month, 30 to make $1 million. I want our top 100 to make at least $360,000. That's what I said, like that fast, right? Nicole, you remember, right? And then my brother, he's like, well, what will that get you that you don't know now? You don't have now? I was like, well, a lot of successful people. He's like, okay, what will that get you? Now, what will that get you when you have that you don't have right now? When you start coming up with something, just start screaming out. Okay, somebody says an army, another answer. Okay? So I get asked again, what will that get you that you don't have now? Here's what just happened. A lot of your minds started to stop, not everybody's. Can't come up with anything, right? I want you to focus with me. You guys focus? Scream out if you can focus for a second. I'm going to ask 3 more times for the sake of everybody in the room, and I want you to answer each time. When you have whatever it is that you just said, what is that going to get for you that you don't have now? You start feeling that, Nicole? Feeling it? Ask you again. When you get that, what's that going to get you that you don't have right now? We're starting to have some answers coming out. Some of you guys are saying, I'm not doing this. There's a couple of you that are mad, saying this is stupid. Dave Sharp actually got mad right around now. I could see it in his face. It was the same look when our merchant account shut us down and he wanted to come tackle me in Costa Rica because he was so mad. Not at me, but he was just mad. We were both a little upset, frustrated. A year ago. But then I asked him again, what will that get you that you don't have now? His mind stopped. And I asked again. And I'm asking you guys the last time, and I'm going to wait, and we're going to sit here and we're not going to say nothing until you come up with an answer. A lot of your minds have stopped. When you get that, we're going to be quiet, okay? When you get that, what will that get you that you don't have now? We got? Huh? Just wait. Dave Sharp, sitting there. And we're going to sit here in silence for about 30 seconds while you guys focus on that question. Here's what happened to him. About 30 seconds. And then the color in his face changed. He looked up at me. It was like heat came off of him, and his face turned a little blush red, and he said, I'll know that everything, all this bad shit that's happened to me in my life serves a greater purpose. What will that get you that you don't have now? We're going to wait a few seconds. Everybody just start shouting out your answers. That is why you're here, so let's go do it.
Next event, my favorite, get money, right? And I like get money because really, once you've decided to stop being a wussy, fight the forces of evil with us, and you've decided that you're going to release your inner badass, the next step is to take all that badassness and go out there and get a bunch of money, right? So we decided to call our event Get Money with a theme of gangsters, right? So we actually showed up at the event in gangster suits. Like, I actually had a suit on, and we showed up and like there was fire coming down, and we were going to hold guns, true story. We had like these fake Gatling gun things that we were going to hold out and kind of show them to everybody, just because we wanted to be, you know, like Al Capone, you know what I mean? Give that kind of like that gangster money type image, you know? But the truth is that we had that thing happen in Boston where there was like a bombing, right, for the Boston Marathon, and that weekend was a bad weekend to be holding guns, right? So rather than doing that, we showed up without the guns, just the gangster uniform, and then we did a moment of silence for the Boston event. We still had, I want to check this out, we had a bombing happening in Boston the same weekend. That weekend in Chicago where we were, there was a flood. Right? And it was really difficult to get to Chicago. People like had to drive extra, they had to wait long in the airports, they had to make sacrifices, they had to pay extra money to the airlines, all the airlines were delayed, and we still packed that room out. Every seat was filled in that room. I actually can't imagine how we would have fit all the people if we didn't have the flood and didn't have the bombing going on that weekend, which goes to show the power of making a decision. You know, back in 2002 when that guy pulled me up and he pulled me in close and he looked me right in the eye and he said, David, if you love your family, get to every event ever. You know, I didn't know what kind of impact that would have on me, but just last year we were gathered around with thousands and thousands of people. I think there was 4,000 people or something at this one, and everybody was chanting, get money, get money, get money, get money. I want to show you.
Get money, get money, get money. Get money, 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 get money. Love you guys, man. I love you guys. Congratulations.
So now we're coming back to now. Here we are. We're in 2013. We're headed into 2014 to our next event, because once you learn how to get money, and once you learn how to release your inner badass, once you learn how to fight the forces of evil, which really are the forces out there in the world that try to prevent you from being who you want to be, now it's time to really create freedom. Which brings us to Freedom 2014, our event out in January, where our purpose out in January is to show you how to create freedom in your life and business. See, freedom is different than getting money. Freedom is different than fighting the forces of evil. Freedom is different than just deciding that you're not going to be a wussy. Freedom is different than releasing your inner badass. Freedom is having the ability to control your time and your money at will. Freedom is the ability that you have to realize now that you're in control, that you're the one who's going to determine your destination in life, that you're the one who's going to set the boundaries of time and money that exist in your life, that you're the one that creates your schedule, that you're the one that manages the amount of money that you get to make in your business, that you're the one that determines your future and your destination. And the question is, are you the one? And so here's what I want to do, okay? We've talked about getting money. We've done the chant. What I want to talk about is I want to talk about freedom for a second. So we're just going to flip the camera over to keep in the spirit of doing this whole thing in one take. I haven't even stopped once, have I? You can answer the question. Okay, so yeah, obviously up here you still see the planning. This is my intricate plan for this presentation that I've got, because I don't actually have an eraser, so I'm actually just going to talk and fill in extra spaces. So you hear me talking about the story about don't be a wussy, the V for Vendetta masks, people getting in touch with their purpose and getting money, and then leading into freedom, which was my plan, of course, for this presentation here. But what I want to talk about is I want to ask you the question. I want to ask you, what are 5 things that you would do if time and money weren't an issue for you? If you could determine your destination in your life, not by the amount of money that you make, not by the amount of time that you have, but if you were free from those obstacles. Now the question is how do you become free from those obstacles? Well, money is actually a simpler one to answer, because if you have way more money coming in than you're possibly spending, and you could look at something and no matter what it is, you can just buy it, then money is no longer an object in your decision making. It's not, right? When we start off in this business, when we start off in network marketing, direct sales, internet marketing, whatever it is, money is an obstacle, right? However, when money ceases to become an obstacle, when it stops, when the world divides and all you see is, I want that, and you can have it, then money is no longer an obstacle, right? So what would you do, number one, if money weren't an obstacle? Well, that didn't solve everything, because then there's this big old obstacle we all got called time, right? And this is actually the harder one, because this one takes a little bit more skill, a little bit more management than the money one, because you just make a bunch of money, money's not an obstacle, buy whatever you want. However, when time's not an obstacle, it looks like this. You say, I want to go to Africa tomorrow, visit my parents, right? You just go, if your parents are in Africa, right? That might be a weird thing, but my parents are actually in Africa right now. If you say, I want to just pick up and move to Costa Rica, you just pick up and you just go, right? You say, I want to go and, I want to play golf all day this Sunday, and you could just go, right? I want to go and I want to go on a vacation for 3 weeks, and you go, and when you go on the vacation, when you go visit your parents, when you go do the things that you want to do, when you go on the mission trip for your church, whatever it is that you want to do, when you go, right, it doesn't affect your income, right? Now the next thing I want to talk about in freedom is actually time and money, not an issue for you, and then what about when location isn't an issue for you? When you don't have to show up somewhere every single day, when you don't have to go to work in a particular location, when you don't have to be somewhere in order to make money and have your time. What would your life be like if you were free? What I want you to think about for a second, or what are the 5 things that you would do right now with your life if time and money weren't an issue for you? What are the 5 things that you would do differently? Okay? My suggestion for you is those 5 things would change everything. One day, would you live in a different house? Would you live in a different area? Would you travel on different vacations? Where would you live? Would you live in the beaches of the world, sinking your toes into the hot sand as you travel, as you speak vision into the future? What are the 5 things that you would do differently if time and money were never an issue for you again? What are the 5 things that you would do? Is my question for you now. Because that's what we're going to show you when you go to the Freedom event. See, every event in Power Network has fundamentally changed in Power Network. Don't be a wussy, change it, because people saw it and they saw that this is for real. They said this is a real company. These are people who can not only sell stuff and get people to buy stuff, these are people that can lead a vision, that can lead a culture, that can lead an army towards a new and a beautiful future, right? The next event, Fight the Forces of Evil, was just like this raw event. I mean, it was a really cool event. You just had to be there. It had a really different energy. And people just went on fire. Our numbers exploded from that event. We went from bringing in, like 3,000 people a month to bringing in like 8,000 people a month, like that, right? But then the Release Your Inner Badass event changed the energy in Power Network. You noticed all of a sudden shift. We stopped talking so much really about getting money all the time. We still talk about it, obviously, because you want to get money now by buying your tickets. But we started talking about, right, the vision and the purpose and the direction we're going together, right? We started talking about connecting with your why when I show you that video, right? And our numbers just exploded. The growth of the company just exploded. People's incomes exploded, leading in to get money. And that event changed our company too, just because it was like that was a magical experience. Every event has been magical and pivotal that we've had in Power Network. I didn't even talk about the next event we had, the next Don't Be a Wussy event, the next things. Because what I want to talk about now is I want to talk about January. I want to talk about Miami. I believe it's January 24th, 22nd through 24th, but I don't have notes in front of me, right? So you can check it. It's right below this video. I want to talk about Miami, meeting with us in Miami to learn how to create freedom in your life and your business. Because I believe something. I believe that the future of Empower is 100 times bigger than what we've seen to this day. I believe that there will be a day when there's a person watching this video who will be standing on a stage with us in front of 15,000 people in a room, in an auditorium, speaking 20 different languages with simultaneous translation going on.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Dave Sharp here, coming to you from the beautiful state of Florida. It's actually a little chilly outside tonight, which is weird, but we are adjusting and we are dealing with it the way that any good entrepreneur would deal with it, which is go fast, break things, put on a sweater, and run out the door. Guys, I've got a special message for you right now, and obviously you heard Dave talking, but I want to just talk about the event here for a second. A couple of weeks ago, I actually had the opportunity to go to an event myself. And you might think, well, Dave, you do events all over the world, all over the country, 4,000 or 5,000 people in a room. Why would you want to go to another event? And the reason and the answer to that question is because I'm also in the process of growing. I'm also in the process of transforming and transitioning into a bigger Dave Sharp. And I came up with every single reason. The dog needed to be walked and fed. Obviously, I had things going on with my family, my daughter, my fiance. I had stuff going on with Empower Network. But something inside me, it told me that, Dave, you should go to this event. Something inside me said, Dave, there's something there that you need to experience, that you need to learn, that you need to see with your own eyes. And when I walked into that room just a couple of weeks ago, I was looking for certain things, and what ended up happening was when I walked out of that room on Sunday, I was a completely different person. I came home and I had different goals for my health. I had different goals for my mentality. I had a elevated mindset. I had different emotional intelligence. I saw my business and my vision in a completely different way than I did before I walked into that event on Friday. And the reason why I tell you that is not really because I want to talk about my experience, but because I want to tell you and remind you and challenge you to realize and remember what happens when you step outside of your comfort zone and you go and you take action on something that you're probably already feeling that you should do. Guys, the event in Miami is going to be an opportunity for you to tap into something that you haven't tapped into before. We're going to be doing different things. We're going to be doing workshops and giving you guys opportunities to be able to learn not only things about how to be better emotionally, how to improve your mindset. We're going to show you and tell you stories about people who are succeeding, but we're also going to take you kind of by the hand and put you in workshops, and we're going to teach you the actual real strategies that people are using right now to become successful marketing, successful copywriting, driving traffic, blogging, SEO, all of the stuff that people are doing online, and then also all the stuff that people are doing to be able to influence big masses of people and really understand the dynamics of how to sell stuff and market stuff without really selling, yet build a team and a following of people who want to be with you, work with you, and know, like, and trust you. So guys, I'm going to tell you something that Miami, what we're doing here is going to be our best work ever. It's going to be something that we've never done before. You're going to experience something that you've never seen from us before, and you're going to, I think, be pleasantly surprised at not only the content that you have the opportunity to be able to learn, but also what we're going to be releasing and showing just you guys at this event. When we started out in Empower back in 2010, and then our first, or 2011, and then our first event in 2012, we started out just as any small company or a small group of entrepreneurs were. We went into our first event in Atlanta kind of with no game plan. We went in with a couple of event planners that hadn't really planned hardly a corporate party before, a corporate dinner. We didn't find that out until about 3 weeks before the event, and we quickly transitioned to some new event planners. But guys, the idea and the reason why I'm telling you this is because when we went into our first event at Empower Network, we didn't get ready to get ready. We didn't wait until things were perfect. We didn't have all of the money to be able to put on as big of an event as we wanted to put on, so we did with what we could at that time, and we made it happen. And over the course of the last 2 years, that one event, from making that one decision to do that event, has not only transformed people's lives, but it's built leaders who have gone on to make millions of dollars inside of Empower Network. It's built teams that have grown on to be some of the most influential teams in the network marketing, affiliate marketing space. We've gone on to break records. We've gone on to inspire and impact people all over the world because we made a decision, not because everything was perfect or because we were ready, but because it was our time. Well, my friend, it's your time in Miami. It's your time in 2014. And I'm going to tell you something. It is going to be the best year of Empower Network. It is going to be the best year of my life. The question that you have to answer for yourself, and this is always the difficult question that everybody has to answer, is will it be the best year for you? Will you take advantage of an opportunity to be able to connect, learn from, be inspired by, and learn some things that you otherwise wouldn't learn? Guys, that opportunity and that offer is on the plate right now. We've got some cool stuff. We're doing some new stuff. The information is below. Get your ticket. Get it now. I'm looking forward to shaking your hand,
seeing you, helping you, and connecting you with the people at the event, connecting you with the other leaders, letting you see with your own eyes. There's a difference between watching somebody on video and listening to them on an audio and actually seeing them in person. And I'm going to tell you, every single time that I've went to an event, every single time that I have stepped outside of my comfort zone and actually went to a live experience, which is what you're going to get at Empower Networks events, it has transformed my life and elevated my game. I'm looking forward to seeing what it'll do for you. I'll see you there.